Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cptn.Canuck show. I am back from a wonderful holiday full of fun times with family and gathering massive gifts of socks and other such goodies that you only get this time of year. But yeah, so I've been missing Dota like crazy. I got back, I grinded out a few games, had one of the most unbelievable games of my life, and where we actually came back from Mega Creeps. It's possible, ladies and gentlemen, it is possible. So, anyways, I am back casting more awesome pub games here in the on the Dota 2 network. So I spotted this game right as I was booting up my software here. So um, I'm not sure if I want to watch this one because I know I'm not going to be able to pronounce either of those team names, and that is just ridiculous. Um, this one actually doesn't look bad. It's going to start in a minute, which will require me to chat a little bit, but this will at least give me a chance to do a little bit of draft analysis. Like I actually really love doing draft analysis. It is one of my favorite things about Dota, and it's left me as the captain in most of the team games I play with my buddies. But it's just such an intricate way that the heroes all mingle in Dota. I mean, there's just so much stuff that can be done. When I watch teams like Sigma, who draft kind of unorthodox, but always have like a cohesive team vision in mind, it just makes me so happy. I love that type of game. So, um, even though that's not quite what goes on in these pubs, it's still fun to break down some of the decisions and come up with a come up with the predictions as to what's going to be going down here. So in 5 seconds here, this game's draft will be starting, and I'll be able to hop in and take a look at her. There we go. All right, so the teams. I completely missed their names. I gotta look at that. I gotta look at that, and I gotta look at it good. We will see here. And you know what? Just so I don't screw up this time, I'm gonna write their names down on my other monitor and keep them there so that I don't screw up. Seems like a given, but like I said, new teams every day. I don't get their team name and logo in the top corner like some of the other casters out there, so it's a little bit harder for me to keep track. But you know, here we go. Let's get this underway. I have been missing casting so much, man. My parents' place was so boring because there's like nothing to do there except play with my dog. So I just played with my dog for like 4 days straight. But now I have video games. So I believe team one was I can't believe my team is this Kawaii. So I'm just going to call him Kawaii because that's what's on their team name. And then we've got SKET Gaming going to be playing on the dire side, I believe. And it looks like we are just waiting for one more loader here. So direct camera screw off. Why is that default? Okay. So I guess I'll run over the player list while we wait for the last player to connect here. None of these I know. These are random people off of the Dota 2 servers. We've got TR, Nina, DDR, Stevo, and Death Scythe. And then on the other team, we've got Creative, Prodoac, Prodoac, LC, Asian name that I'm not going to even try to pronounce. I can't even read it, and Big Poor. Looks like Death Scythe and Big Poor will be drafting for each team. And my team can't be this Kawaii is going to be banning out the Bristleback first and foremost, and then the OD being followed up by SKET right off the bat here. Alright. Just making sure I've got that right.
Remaining.
Anyways. So,
Dire team ban.
Very standard bans coming out here. Outworld Demolisher, Outhouse Demolisher,
Radiant team
whatever.
Pick.
Bristleback, Clockwork, and Bane. So, a lot of very strong popular heroes getting knocked out right here, but there are still a lot in the pool. There's the CM, there's the Venomancer, there's the Marana that's been really heavily favored in pubs. I think there's been a Marana in every single game that I've played in the last 2 weeks. So, she is very highly favored in this pub and at the pub level, and we'll see what gets picked up here. Rubik being the first pickup by
Dire
Kawaii, so I'm
team
not sure
pick.
why they went for Rubik first pick. Usually he's a reactionary pick when you see a big ulti, but once again, this is low-level drafting, so you know, if you got a member of your team who's really good on him, or if you you know, just prefer the versatility of the hero, then it is more than reasonable to pick him up first. Crystal Maiden being the response, always a strong support, nothing interesting to say there. Lifestealer being picked up very early
Radiant
on by SKET
team
Gaming,
pick.
so this might be open to a lot of counter picks. Razor's still in the pool and will be available for this pick for Kawaii. There's a lot of other soft counters to Lifestealer, and I mean, not even soft counters. There are a lot of counters out there, such as, I mean, Shadow Demon, even Spirit Breaker, because his bash goes through the magic immune.
Radiant team
Things like that are
ban.
always really, really strong and can be thrown at you at any point. So Lifestealer as an early pickup is not always the best, but once again, pub pickups, if you have a player that's comfortable with them, then go for it. Timbersaw being the
Dire team
response,
ban.
and always a fantastic hero in any lineup, but especially against strength carries, he does exceptionally well because of the stat shred on Whirling
Radiant
Death.
team
So
ban.
Timbersaw is going to do exceptionally well here, and hopefully will be what Kawaii needs to deal with that Lifestealer. Ursa and Alchemist being the two follow-up bans, so SKET a little bit skittish about
10
Ursa being
seconds
picked up here. I'm not
remaining.
sure if it's completely warranted, but Ursa is another one of those kind of soft
5
counters to Lifestealer,
seconds remaining.
as Ursa just outduels Lifestealer in a face fight.
Reserve
So
time.
Alchemist being banned out as well, so they're it looks like they're fearing the support Alchemist. He probably wouldn't be played in the carry role if that Lifestealer is there, but always a potent combo with that Crystal Maiden, because Frostbite into Unstable Concoction can really chunk somebody down on their life points. It combos very well with Lifestealer as well, because of the minus armor and you know, all that lockdown and the stun. So dipping into the reserve time here for Team Kawaii, trying to pick out what they want to get rid of for this next ban. There's been a support and a carry picked up for SKET right now, so they'll still be looking for another support, a mid laner, and an off laner, unless they're going to go for something a little bit more unorthodox, such as duo lanes or junglers or whatever, but for the most part, those are the roles they're going to be looking to fulfill, and it is very hard to draft when this sort of pickup comes out in the first two. You don't quite have an idea of what the team composition is yet, and you still have too many roles to ban out, so you can't just hit the heavy hitters in one role. So you kind of have to think about it, but they are dipping really far into their reserve time. You shouldn't be dropping this much reserve time for a ban. I mean, who knows, maybe he's AFK or something and we'll have a disconnect. That would suck. But hopefully not. Hopefully they're just mulling it over, making sure they make the right selection here, and hopefully they will soon. 25 seconds left on that clock, and I'm going to grab myself a drink of water. Really? Alright, so there they go. They decided to ban the Venomancer.
Dire
Not a
team
particularly specific ban. That's one that I would have expected in the first four, actually, but they take all that reserve time. Who knows?
Dire
Maybe
team
they have Gyrocopter being the response ban, and
Radiant
Centaur
team
Warrunner
pick.
coming out from SKET. So a little bit unorthodox, and it'll be interesting to see what role he is shoved into. Centaur is a great hero, but he has a hard time in the laning phase because no one's really sure where to send him. He's not a great offlaner, and he kind of needs a bit of gold under his belt, so he's not great on the safe lane because he has to take the carries farm. He's really good with aggro tri-lanes just because he's really
10
dangerous. I've seen him
seconds
comboed up with
remaining.
Tiny by teams like Sigma, who I was talking about, has a great
5
draft
seconds
earlier.
remaining.
They've done the Tiny Centaur combo where you chuck Centaur in and just have him
Reserve
stomp, and it just wreaks
time.
havoc on the enemy. And
10
it's a really good
seconds
combo. So
remaining.
we'll see if Tiny is picked up by SKET, but Medusa coming out by
Dire
Kawaii right now.
team
So
pick.
they're looking to you know, out farm this game, and they do have two very good space creating heroes. Timbersaw can hold off creep waves and shove enemy teams back very well, and Rubik always has Fable, which makes creep waves pretty useless for a short amount of
Radiant
time.
team pick.
So Wind Ranger coming out for SKET as well, so this doesn't seem like there's a strategy involved. I mean, it feels a lot more like people are just saying, alright, I want to play this hero, give me this hero. So we still have yet to see what the lanes are. I think Centaur will be running as a bit more of a supporty role, probably on that 4 position, behind the Crystal Maiden and the Lifestealer, and what could be an offensive tri-lane, I would expect it. Yeah, probably offensive. It'll have to see how Kawaii's lanes roll out. Right now, they're looking very defensive on their lane choices. Rubik and Shadow Demon with Medusa are not very good for securing kills, so they're just going to be looking to keep Medusa safe. They're going to put her on the safe lane on the Radiant side for sure, and we'll see if SKET chooses to respond by trying to get in her face and shut her down.
Remaining.
Now, Wind Ranger is also an interesting one because you could put Centaur on the off lane and put Wind Ranger as a secondary support with the Crystal Maiden and the Lifestealer, which would function very well, but, you know, there's a lot of versatility in this draft, and, you know, I'm curious to see what they do. I don't want to speculate too much because anything can happen. It's Pub Dota, and we all know this, so we'll see where it goes. Magnus Band coming out from SKET Gaming, so looks like they're fearing the AoE Wombo, and Kawaii is banning out the Storm Spirit to prevent the combo up with the Lifestealer, which is always a wise choice. You know, when you're missing mid laner and you got a Lifestealer on the team, Storm Spirit's got to be the ban. So very wise choice there. We'll see what SKET chooses to sub that in for. I'm going to call it right now out of nowhere. It's going to be the Windrunner, and they're going to pick like a Weaver or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out here. This draft doesn't make logical sense. It just makes... okay, it makes logical sense if your logic is weird. But we'll see how it plays out. Dota is a very diverse game, and anything can work out. So, okay, so they are going to put the Templar Assassin mid. Oh. Man, I almost burped there. Okay, so Templar Assassin's going to be dropped mid. Wind Ranger's going to be on the off lane, and I imagine Centaur, Crystal Maiden, and Lifestealer will be on an aggressive tri-lane versus the Rubik, Medusa, Shadow Demon safe lane. Viper's going to be taking on that Templar Assassin in the mid, and Timbersaw is going to be down on the off lane. So we're going to be seeing a very action-packed tri-lane, I do suspect. The mid lane will probably see some action, but I think these are two heroes that trade relatively well. I mean, Viper gets rid of the shield really quickly on Templar Assassin, but she can also harass back if she's really wise about her Psyblade usage and rune control. So I'm interested to see how that'll play out. I think Viper does have the edge in that matchup, but you know, a good TA player can make it work.
10 seconds remaining.
Man, SKET's just... Actually,
5 seconds remaining.
They've probably got one AFK. That happens quite a bit. Oh, man. No, I don't want my... I like my Curiosity Hood because... Oh, man. Sorry. Because I'm a pretty big... I'm a big Rubik player. He's my most played hero, and so I like the HUD, but I am definitely not going to keep that on for casting because it's a little bit obnoxious. Alright, so it does look like, as I called, Medusa, Rubik, and eventually the Shadow Demon will be heading down towards the bottom lane. Viper is heading up towards the mid, and we'll see Timbersaw going up towards the off lane. Now, Wind Ranger is heading up towards the safe lane, so as I imagined, it is going to be a very aggressive tri-lane coming out here. Lifestealer starting with a Quelling Blade, not the Stout Shield. If you're going aggressive, you... a lot of times you will want to go with the Stout Shield just so that you can deal with the harass. The Quelling Blade is not going to help you against heroes, and will only help you a smidgen when you're dealing with the creeps. So we'll see how he plays it out here, but looks like he's just going for a lot of early stats. He's got 67 base damage and will be hitting pretty darn hard when they choose to go for a kill here. Hoof Stomp being the first taken ability by Centaur, and Crystal Nova actually being the first one grabbed by Crystal Maiden. So, Rage. Alright, normally I would suspect if you were going to go for the first blood with that lane, you would go Frostbite, Open Wounds, and Hoof Stomp, but seems they've all started with alternate abilities, so we'll see how that plays out. Hasterun sitting up top here. Both teams can see it with their wards, and neither team choosing to go for it quite yet. Tia running up towards the mid with 2 pooled tangos, a ward, and 3 branches, so she's going to have her bottle very quickly if she can secure a few kills, or a few creep kills, and it looks like she will because she is in a grand old position just at the top of that ramp where she wants to be. Alright, so here's the aggressive tri-lane I was talking about. Crystal Maiden's staying really far back. She might not be at her computer right now. There she goes. She's coming in. So, Kawaii sees this now, and we'll have to react accordingly. I mean, Medusa this is a really safe lane, like I said. Between disruption, levitation, and the fact that Medusa is pretty naturally tanky, it is going to be, you know, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to really put a dent in that lane and hamper the farm. What they're going to have to do is just get right up in their face and try to make a kill happen on anybody, really. But you know, they are playing it safe and they are playing it smart, so we'll see how that plays out. A early pull coming out already. The secondary pull does not manage to catch the extra creep, so this camp is going to go pretty much unscathed, and Shadow Demon is going to have to wander back towards the lane. This tri-lane is looking pretty sad right now. They they came down here expecting action, and they're not getting it quite yet, but who knows? Maybe at level 2 they're going to go with the rest of their abilities, because they'll have Double Edge, and then they'll have Frostbite and so they do have a very strong level 2. Their level 1 is good, but their level 2 is a lot better, so we'll see if action breaks out in a couple moments here. Levitation going out right away, so it does look like they're going to look for some action, but the Stomp comes out and that breaks up that fight rather nicely. This is a combo I actually... this is an interesting combo that I tried out quite a bit, was the Shadow Demon and Centaur Warrunner. It is so ridiculously deadly. I don't even know, because you disrupt with Shadow Demon, then you get a free Hoof Stomp, and the damage amp on Shadow Demon, his Soul Catcher, makes Double Edge do so much damage that you can almost one-shot somebody with that combo. I've run it a few times, like doing dual lanes in Captain mode, and it's even Stomp tri-lanes. Like, it's ridiculous, and I mean, it's just such a strong combo. Anyways, food for thought for any of you playing on teams out there, or just playing with your buddies in general. It's a fantastic dual lane to run. Just for some laughs, it is really good. Up here, pretty passive lane, just what I expected. I mean, either of these heroes could kill each other at any moment. Windrunner's got a lot of burst, so she's not proccing reactive armor, and Timbersaw has a lot of burst, so that, a lot of bursty spell damage that'll keep Windrunner from getting away with Windrun. So, I mean, I'm probably going to miss a kill up here at some point, but these heroes are just going to kind of trade evenly for the little bit. This is the lane we want to be watching down here, as both teams are kind of jockeying for position and looking to make their supports count. A lot of experience being spread around here, and I'm curious about this pickup. I mean, he was eating a lot of harass, but I'm not sure if return level 2 is the right choice. Oh, the Arcane Aura as well. So they're really not building for kills in an aggressive tri-lane, which seems odd to me, but you know, whatever floats their boat. They got they do have a lot of stability in this lane. Centaur is very tanky and has some regen there. Lifestealer's always got lifesteal, and Crystal Maiden is just staying very far back. So this mid lane here, Viper is taking a huge advantage. Not a lot more than I expected him to, but he's going to run up and grab a regen rune, and TA is going to have to walk all the way back to base. Empty bottle, no courier there to Crow, and she's not getting the rune, so she's going to run back. Viper's going to grab his regen rune here and just sit in the middle and continue to farm up. Down bottom, still just a bit of a farm fest for now. I'm expecting this to break out at any moment. Something just go crazy, but doesn't look like either team wants it to happen. This Shadow Demon, man, he's looking, keeps moving up a little, and man, sketching me out. I think he wants it, but he doesn't want it. Where is Timber going? Timber's going to pick up an Arcane
Radiant's
Aura.
top tower is under attack.
Missing top.
Top tower taking some action up here. Windrunner calling them missing, but Timbersaw will show up in just a moment again. Rubik not holding onto any items that benefit his own. Oh, here's some action here. Disruption coming out on the Centaur. They lift him up, pull him back. They're doing a lot of damage, but he is reflecting quite a lot of it, and he does pop, but Medusa gets the first blood, so gold going exactly where it needs to. That's Phase Boot sitting up on the Medusa. Would have been a Midas recipe as well if she had chosen to go that route, but who knows. TA is not having a good time here. She's trying to max side blades, which is the right move up against that Viper, but you know, there's just not much you can do. If I mean, if you've got refraction up and you stay out of his range, you're gonna proc the corrosive skin, and it's gonna hurt you. Oh man, Dust even coming up for the Viper really early on, so he is ready to brawl and take this TA down. So she is not having a good time, sitting at 7 for 3 on the CS right now. And looks like a gank might be coming up mid here. There are wards to splot this out, and so TA is going to be playing very far back, and she sees them walking away, so nothing going to happen there. Where is my last hit? There's the last hits. So Lightstealer actually sitting on top of the last hits graph with 26 for 1, 25 and 24 for Timbersaw and Viper respectively, and the next runner up is the Windrunner. Haha, you see what I did there. Windrunner doing very well for herself up in this top lane. Not Windranger, Windrunner, forever in my heart. Up in the mid lane, Viper diving this really hard, using that orb walk to make sure he avoids the tower aggro and just do maximum damage there. That was very good knowledge about how far he could push his boundaries. Whoa! Okay, so that was what I was talking about up here. Like I said, I was gonna miss a kill at some point because both of these heroes had the opportunity to just waste each other. So looks like they got in a bit of a scuffle. Windranger is going to be heading back as she's pretty beaten up, but she did secure the kill on the Timbersaw. So 1-1 is the kill score now at 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Looks like the Shadow Demon and Rubik were looking for a little action, but this tri-lane is scared, man. These guys went aggressive, they didn't skill right, and now they're just afraid of fighting. I really think they should just be up in their face trying to knock out these supports, because even if you get in a scuffle with this lineup, you have a lot of capability to just mess people up. So here it goes though. Big fight can be coming out. Disruption prevents the Hookstone from landing on the Rubik, and Rubik's going to walk away, dealing a lot of damage to the Centaur now, but they are focusing the Centaur, which means a lot of damage is getting reflected back, and these other heroes are not going down, but the Crystal Maiden does fall to a Shadow Poison. Medusa actually got the kill, so looks like a Mystic Snake probably flew out and picked that up at the last moment. So Medusa sitting very well down on this on this safe lane, sitting 2 for 0, getting the only kills on her team, and now sitting on a lot of gold to do whatever she pleases with. Looks like there's been a rotation here, so TA's gone up towards the top lane and Windranger's taken over mid, which is completely understandable. This Windrunner will do a lot better against Viper. I mean, still not the best, she's still not winning this lane, but she will do much better than this TA will, and TA's at a bit of a disadvantage because of the early back and the fact that she had to roam a little bit to see if she could try to get runes. So this Timbersaw is gonna have her number, but she should be able to deal with this appropriately. Oh, Timber's just going for it though, diving right underneath the tower, tanking it, and boom, blows her up. Man, there was just nothing she could have done there. She should have meld struck and tried to fight him, because he was tanking so many tower hits there. But I mean, that's just that level difference coming into play. She didn't have enough. She didn't have enough points for refraction because she was laning up against Viper, and you know, he just abused the hell out of that. I mean, I don't even think refraction would have done anything. Whirling Death, sorry, Chakram would have just eaten through that in a moment. So still not sure about that TA pickup. I mean, I think Shadow Demon with enough points in Shadow Poison. How much does that do per tick? I think it does enough to break a refraction charge. Lots of aggression coming out here. Medusa's going to drop her ulti and make this a very hard fight to fight, but Centaur stomps and misses completely, and they're just juggling him around. Every time Lifestealer tries to choose a target, they just walk backwards and get away from him. Rubik's backed himself into a corner here, but gets disrupted out of his own teleport, but the illusions are actually going to save him. Lifestealer's still going ham on this, but gets kited around just long enough that he manages
middle tower is under attack.
that Lifestealer manages to fall. So very well played there by Team Kawaii. I am actually incredibly impressed with that play. That's kind of how you play it against an Ursa. As soon as he chooses a target, that target just walks away, and you just let it go. But you know, these guys did it very well, and even that disruption on the Rubik, it was questionable, but I think it actually saved his life, because I don't know if he was going to be able to teleport with the Lifestealer beating on him there. 6-1 the total kill score here. 10 minutes and 45 seconds into this match of Dota 2. Fantastic. I'm loving it. I love being back. Love playing the game. I love watching the game. Beautiful. Yeah, still sitting pretty poor on her farm, but doing a lot better than she was at mid. 15 for 6 now, and this Timbersaw is just abusing this lane with all he can. 49 for 12 is his score. His score right now. Only opting for 1 point in that reactive armor because at this point he really doesn't need it to stay in the lane against the TA. He can just go for the full damage build and really abuse her. I mean, look at that. She's trying to poke at him, but it does nothing. Absolutely nothing. On the bottom lane, Medusa did choose to skip the Midas, and she will be going directly for that Lincoln Sphere. This Triline, man, they're not even sitting in XP range. Like, they don't need to be that far back, but the warding has been poor by the Dire side, and they just haven't retained the control they need. They get up a little bit too far, and Centaur gets caught out, but Lifesteal is just going to rage and run away because there is nothing he can do to help his buddy. Centaur drops in the trees, and this tri-lane has failed miserably, let me tell you. It was looking good to start, but they just didn't press their advantage when they had it, and just let this, like I said, what I would normally consider to be a very defensive lane manage to pick up, be aggressive, and get a couple kills on the supports, and then they just took off from there. Medusa is sitting way at the top of the net worth graph with 4,700 gold. Whoa, Timbersaw killing the Crystal Maiden. Looks like she rotated up for a gank and just got the bad end of that. Viper coming up with a haste rune, and this TA is toast. Not even. Oh, she might be able to TP out. She does TP out, but dies in spawn to the last tick of poison. Oh, that is unfortunate. That is truly unfortunate. I was rooting for her. She's been having such a rough time this game that I was like, you can do it. You can get out. You can make it. And just as she arrives back in spawn, one tick was one tick too many.
Radiant's middle tower, Dire's
9-1 plus a tower is now the score in the favor of team. My team can't be this Kawaii. What a team name. Jolly Jokers. Timbersaw now sitting up on the mid lane. He has a soul booster now if he wants it, and is getting pretty darn close to that bloodstone. Viper and Timber both sitting on the mid lane. Look at Viper, Timber, he's just eating these hits, not a care in the world. Viper now sitting on a mechanism, so this team has suddenly become even beefier than they already are. It is going to be so hard for Team SKET to be able to kill Kawaii. You've got Disruption, you've got Levitation, you got Corrosive Skin, you got Mechanism, you've got Timbersaw, who's Timbersaw, and you got Mana Shield, plus a Lincoln Sphere. I mean, what do you do against that? There's not even many skills that can break the Lincoln Sphere either. Crystal Maiden's got Frostbite, you got Open Wounds, you got Shackle Shot.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
3 spells that can break the Lincolns, and I mean, I guess that means that the Lincolns isn't as effective as it could be, but you know, it's still a great item on Medusa regardless. And it also means that those abilities are going to be heavily nullified regardless. I mean, those are abilities that you don't want hitting in the first place. So, Invis Rune sitting up top. Looks like Bristle saw that. Oh, jeez. How did I miss that? More action coming down here. Medusa grabbing a kill of her own, and then Rubik picking up the Centaur. So 11-1 is the kill score now. Looks like it's going to be quite the stomp. SKET is going to have to turn this around in a big way to make this happen. They're going to have to pull something out of their hat. You know, get some really aggressive plays going on. I mean, that's what their lineup is made for. TA is supposed to be greedy in lane. She's supposed to be able to take those. She's supposed to be able to dive with refraction, do a lot of damage, and she hasn't been able to do that this game. Same as Lifestealer. I mean, Lifestealer is a fantastic hero for playing safe, but at the same time, he's a fantastic hero for playing aggressively, especially when you match him with good supports that can hold heroes down, like the Crystal Maiden. When she gets a Frostbite on a hero, and Lifestealer can just beat on him for 4 or 5 seconds, it is fantastic, but they just did not get that chance this game. Stomp goes out, nothing happens here, and the Centaur drops. So, 12-1 the kill score, and SKET falling further and further behind as we go.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Windrunner trying to put some dents into this mid tower here, and will likely do it. No contesting coming out here, and no fortification. Tower is going to drop. Windrunner gets a tower, so that is a little bit of gold in the favor of SKET Gaming right now, and that is what they need. Their Windrunner picks up a 4-staff, which increases their team fight potential, but this pressure on the bottom lane is huge. I don't know if there's going to be anything done about this. The Fortify is going to come out, but are any TPs going to come in to prevent it? 2 heroes sitting further back in the wing, and Crystal Maiden was sitting over there, but chooses to retreat. And now this tower is going to go down. 16 minutes, and the tier 2 is dropping.
Dire's bottom tower has
This is very unfortunate. I think SKET will have a chance when they start to hit 6 and their heroes come online. I think when TA, well, she picked up her phase boots, so she's going to be a little bit more effective now in these fights. The Centaur, when he picks up his ultimate, they'll be able to make something happen. So with a couple smart pickoffs and you know, letting their lifestealer get what he needs, which is that armlet, I think he can afford it right now. If he grabs that armlet, I think SKET will be in a decent position to stage their comeback. They just got to make sure not to throw it, not to fail it, not to just throw heroes at the enemy team. God, I love that courier. It's beautiful. Tier 1 tower going to go down here, not being contested at all. Windrunner pulls the lane back, but will not actually do anything about this. Throws a power shot and will back up to the tier 2. And it looks like this is where SKET's going to make their stand. Still no level 6 on the Centaur Warrunner, and that armlet has not been purchased yet on the lifestealer. Bloodstone coming out now on the Timbersaw, so he has his Bloodstone. Medusa is, she has got her Lincoln Sphere being delivered to her, so a lot of these key items coming up for Kawaii right now too. They are really far ahead, and like I said, it's going to take a monumental battle here to
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Lifestealer infested into the Centaur, who is now level 6. So this is the fight they're going to be wanting to look for. Like I said, not optimal. They are still definitely way far behind, but they have a chance here. And they're going to have to engage this. They don't have to engage this, but they're going to. I can tell just the way this is playing out here. They're waiting for it. The last second, Centaur is going to charge. Here we go. Aggro being juggled very nicely on that tower. They managed to knock that down by about half of its health without taking a single tower hit while those creeps were sitting there. Centaur goes up and gets disrupted. Great shackle shot coming out, picking up 2 heroes. Big mess in the middle of this fight. So this is what this is sort of what they wanted. That was the plan, but you know, it just wasn't enough. They played it right, but the numbers weren't high enough in their favor. Just how it goes sometimes. You get underleveled, you get outlaned, and they call GG at 18 minutes. So a very quick game. SKET Gaming getting stomped by my team. Can't beat this Kawaii. And that has been another fantastic game of Pub Dota 2 brought to you by Cptn.Canuck. You guys have a wonderful time, and I will see you tomorrow.